Superstitions, specifically those from my country, the Philippines. Every country has its superstitions, and the Philippines is no different. When I was younger, my elders would often tell me these superstitions, not to scare me or anything, but to make sure I grew up with discipline and manners. But even if they weren't trying to scare me into behaving, I was still terrified since I was just a kid who would believe in anything. I only found out when I was older that they did it with the best of intentions. Yeah, right. Thanks for all the nightmares you gave me, but whatever. So, anyway, there are a lot of superstitions to cover, so I might as well start with the most common ones. Let's start with knocking on wood. For context, let's say you're talking with some friends and you accidentally jinx someone. We believe that simply knocking on wood or any wooden surface would counter the jinx, thus making sure that the person wouldn't fall into bad luck. I never really understood the sense in doing this, but I never questioned it either and simply accepted it. Even today, I still do this whenever the situation presents itself. This superstition has been engraved in my mind at such a young age that I do it on instinct. Next is sweeping at night. Again, I don't know the logic, but whatever. Anyway, people from back then were told not to sweep in the house during the evening. There are many reasons, but the most common is that you're sweeping the good luck away from your house. Now, a superstition that terrified me as a kid. During a wake, we were told not to immediately go home. Instead, we should go somewhere else. Anywhere is fine, as long as it's not anyone's house. This is because if we go directly home, the spirit of the dead would follow us. That's why it was believed to go somewhere else to confuse the spirit. Hearing that terrified my friends and me to our core. This was one superstition that I took seriously and tried to follow it as much as I could. I always made sure to visit an internet cafe or hang around a convenience store after visiting a wake. When I finally decided to go home, I kept thinking to myself, please don't follow me. Please don't follow me. Since we're on the subject of wakes and funerals, there are several superstitions related to them. An example is never to wear clothes with red or any bright colors. Bright colors symbolize joy, but it's inappropriate during this event since everyone is mourning. Another belief is not to take a shower after visiting a wake or funeral. Moving away from wakes and funerals, another superstition is that whenever you pass through an area with dense trees, it is advisable to wear your clothes backwards, your shirt is sufficient, and not necessarily need to do the same with your pants. By doing this, you won't get lost. They say that these kinds of areas are inhabited by spirits or other supernatural beings who love toying with people, like making it feel that you've been going around in circles. By wearing your clothes backwards, you will confuse them long enough for you to leave the area. I grew up in the city, so I can't say I experienced doing this. Another scary superstition is burning or throwing away the clothes a person is wearing after seeing them with no head, either in a photo or a mirror. Yeah, this one also terrified me as a kid, but I'm glad I never experienced this in my life. Anyway, seeing someone with no head is a sign that someone will die soon. There's another belief that is similar to the one where you have to wear your clothes backwards. By saying these words, you're telling the supernatural beings that reside in that area that you're simply passing by and have no bad intentions. I've done this a couple of times whenever I pass a very old tree or a cemetery. Another one is never to cut your nails at night, since by doing so, someone close to you will have bad luck. Now, the logic for this is simple. Back then, when electricity still wasn't common, there was a high chance of cutting yourself if you cut your nails, since people were using oil lamps back then. Not really a good light source. There's also a superstition for someone who has been murdered. People will place a baby chick on top of the casket of the said person. People believe that every time the chick pecks on the glass, it's like pecking on the conscience of the murderer. I really found this interesting when I first saw this practice when I was younger. How about some good superstitions to brighten things a bit? First, when giving someone a wallet as a gift, always put money in it. Even a few coins will suffice. By doing so, the person ensures financial success in the future. Accidentally biting your tongue means that someone is talking about you. This was a fun belief and was popular in school, especially with the kids. Another is when you have itchy palms. This means that you'll be receiving a good amount of money in the coming days. There are also superstitions about people with mythical powers. One example is known as faith healers. These people are more common in rural areas and practice the art of healing people using herbs, rituals, and chants. I was surprised to learn that even to this day, some people, especially those from the older generations, would rather go to faith healers than seek medical help from doctors or hospitals. But hey, I'm not here to judge. People can believe in whatever they want, and it's none of my business. And that's about it, I guess. That's some of the superstitions I have learned from when I was younger. They might sound silly, but like I said at the beginning, they helped me grow into a more disciplined person. And I think that's the reason why our parents and grandparents told us about these beliefs in the first place. So, what did you think? Were some of these superstitions similar to where you're from?